All right, let's connect it up here. So let's see if the audio is okay. All right, guys. So let's just wait for YouTube and everything to connect. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I'm just checking the microphone stuff here with the OBS program. So I'll wait for YouTube and stuff to connect and catch up and for people to join. But we'll talk about Tales of the Walking Dead, the first 5 episodes. We'll talk about House of the Dragon a little bit, talk about some different shows and, stuff I'm watching, movies, and a movie that was better in the trailer than we watched on Amazon. They were like, nah, it's not. It's annoying when trailers are better or the best stuff is in the trailers for the movies. You're like, man, this is a waste of time. But what's going on, my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, my fighters? I'm One Eye Bry, also known as PT. You don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about Tales of the Walking Dead and a bunch of different topics to talk about here on the live stream. So if you got any topics, post in the top chat. Super chats are always welcome. And we're going to talk about a bunch of different things. So it's Labor Day weekend here in the States, and I got Monday off. So it's pretty cool to do stuff around the house. And it's always good when you have a holiday to feel like you can get some stuff done. Sometimes it's better to work and just get it over with because if stuff piles up. But I'm definitely going to be doing stuff around the house, already doing yard work and stuff there. And so it'll be cool because tonight is House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 3, which I'm very excited about. Tales of the Walking Dead, I enjoyed Episode 5. We'll talk about that as well. And spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead. But if you got Michael Singer, it's college football time. So yeah, I didn't really watch any. I watched a little bit of college football yesterday. I was trying to watch the Georgia-Oregon game, and the streaming stuff wasn't really working. So I was like, oh, it wasn't meant to be. So I didn't watch any of that. But I'm watching, my wife and I are watching a couple of different things besides Tales of the Walking Dead and House of the Dragon. We are watching this show called Mike. It's about Mike Tyson's story on Hulu. And Mike Tyson actually came out and said that he's not getting anything for that show. So I don't know how they got around having his likeness and story and the rights to his stuff. But that's pretty messed up for the story to be about a guy and he's not getting anything from it. And then I went back and watched the Undisputed Truth on HBO about Mike Tyson on stage. And it's a cool thing that you get to see his story, how it unfolds. And, Mike Tyson is iconic and a legend, that's for sure. But thank you guys for being a part of it. Negan1, Tim, Big Tree, James, Rob K, Mike, Kami, and everyone else that's joining here now. So Tales of the Walking Dead, I was trying to think about it. Like, does the show check all the boxes? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it dumb? Is it worth watching? Is it a nice addition to the Walking Dead universe? And as we approach the 6th and final episode of the first season, we had to put like wins and losses, right? So if episode is good, it's a win. If an episode is bad, it's a loss. I was thinking about it. I'm guessing they're like it's 4-1 in my opinion because I think that all the episodes have been pretty good except for the 2nd episode. I know some people liked it, and it's just interesting when you say, I didn't like it, everyone that's going to say they liked it. And if I liked it, there'll be a bunch of people saying they didn't like it. But either way, it just didn't really do anything worth watching, in my opinion. It was an A for effort, but it just was too much. And I like them trying new stuff, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I don't like, hey, Kami, or Lynn, I should say, sorry. But I liked 4 of the episodes. I liked the Joe and Evie episode. Did not like the Blair and Gina episode. Liked the Alpha episode. And I liked the Devon, or the, the Dr. Everett Amy episode. And then the Devin Devon episode, however you want to say his name, but it's like a French aspect episode for it's cool. It's different. It's a different thing, and we'll talk about that for sure. But it's let me see Negan1. So watched episode 4. I didn't think they had flying drones in 2010, but the model they used was available in 2010 with the smartphone use. So yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Negan1, about the drones and technology around the zombie apocalypse, because the zombie apocalypse, in The Walking Dead at least, it started around 2010, and the world was a different place in 2010. So was it 10 years later, 20 years later, 35 years later? We didn't really get a definite timeline on it. Channing Pal said something on a boat, an IMDb thing at Comic-Con in San Diego. Then she was like, don't quote me on this and get all this and that we have an episode that's going to be set 35 years in the future. And there was no, so far out of all 5 episodes, unless it's the 6th episode, which maybe it is, I don't know. But the 5 episodes so far never talked about how many years it's been in the zombie apocalypse, except for the Dr. Everett episode where he kind of talks about things a little bit. The man-made ditch or gulch or canyon or whatever he's calling it, the zoo animals and everything around there too. So it makes sense that the time went by like that. So it makes sense that it's that episode, but it doesn't really matter. Who really cares? But I thought about the same thing. I'm like, did we have drones and technology like that back then? I asked the question in one of my videos about Dr. Everett being a CRM scientist. And I clearly said in there that it's probably not going to happen because it makes too much sense for it to be the CRM connection. But I still think and stand by the CRM is the glue, the flex tape, the Gorilla Glue, whatever you want to call it, that connects all the different shows and spinoffs. Like CRM is a great way to fill in the gaps or connect the dots or, dot the I's and cross the T's. Like CRM is a great way to connect everything. And we haven't really had that. We haven't really had much of a thing with CRM besides a whole show in World Beyond. Minimal connections if you're on The Walking Dead, and minimal connections on The Walking Dead, except for Jadis and this and that. So do they know what they're doing? Are they just trying to stretch it out, draw it out? Do they not want to connect the dots so much so fast? Are they going to connect the dots? Because we don't like, at least I don't like, BS stories that don't make sense, that are wasted time, that are just plot hole city, and it just is dumb. But overall, I think Tales of the Walking Dead is something to watch. It's interesting, and I've enjoyed, 4 of the episodes so far. Just didn't really like the second episode. It was really a waste of time, in my opinion. James says, Tales of the Walking Dead is the only Walking Dead show I can't buy on Xbox so far. I haven't seen any of it. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, James. But, yeah, probably when it's all said and done, the 6 episodes, you'll probably be able to watch it somewhere. I know some people in the UK or in Europe and different parts of the world haven't been able to watch it. I don't know if they're up now or not. I live in the United States, so I don't know what it is in other parts of the country or the world. But I know that it's just something that I know some people haven't been able to watch it, and that may be, hurting the ratings as well. Yeah, John, I didn't watch any of Clash of the Castle, which to me is a terrible name. But yeah, I didn't watch anything of wrestling, and I probably won't watch anything until I guess next year's WrestleMania or something. There's no real need for that. But my wife and I did watch, like I said, the TV show Mike on Hulu, which is the Mike Tyson story, which is good. And then we watched the movie called Samaritan on Amazon. And it's a comic book superhero story kind of thing that is Sylvester Stallone is the main actor in it. And I don't want to give too much away, but the trailer makes it look good. Like there's a superhero that was a superhero but went into hiding. And I was like watching it because I like Sylvester Stallone and I like superhero stuff and I like whatever. And I'm like, this movie is not really good. It's just not done in a way that's interesting to it. It just seems like it's a cash grab for superhero stuff. It was filmed in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, around there too. So it's just crazy to think about it being kind of not really good. I think Euron Greyjoy, who played in Game of Thrones, is in the show or the movie. The kid from Umbrella Academy from the latest season is in it, and Sylvester Stallone, of course, too. And it's just not really good, in my opinion. Yeah, Rob K says Samaritan isn't getting good reviews, and it shouldn't, because it's not a good movie. It feels like an incomplete movie when you're expecting superhero stuff to be done in a way, like even DC movies, but it's just not really done that well at all. Yeah, Jonathan Wilder says, Mike Tyson said he was not involved in the TV show about him. Yeah, I saw that, and it stinks because I would hope that he would get some money or something involved with it. I guess they just took the books that Mike wrote or were written about him, the Undisputed Truth thing that he has on HBO. It copies a lot of that same stuff, and I guess they can get around it. But yeah, he's not involved with it. Hopefully he's getting some money about it, because I don't know how you could do that about his likeness, his story, his stuff about it, because that's pretty crappy as well. So I don't know what's up with the buffering here, but yeah, we're watching those couple things so far. And Wilson says, shout out to Charlie Adlard for signing my Walking Dead comic. Cheers, bud. That's cool. That's awesome. Charlie Adlard is the comic artist for the Walking Dead comic, which is always cool to see. And it's always cool to see. I know Dragon Con is a convention in, I believe, Atlanta, Georgia, going on this weekend. And a good amount of Fear the Walking Dead, people are there. I think Morgan is there. Luciana is there. I don't know if Jenna Elfman is there. And then a couple people from The Walking Dead are as well there too. So that's pretty cool to, still having conventions. And, Walking Dead, Walking Dead is not as popular as, used to be, which is fine. Stuff dies off and it falls off and it trails off. But it's tough to do that for, 11 seasons of it, too. So, I've never really watched Supernatural, and I think that's got 15 seasons. I would assume the, ratings and viewership died off after so many seasons of it. I'm just guessing. Until they did something big, or they talked about the last season, or brought people back for the last season, people just move on with their lives too. To watch a show for so long, and then they didn't really do. The Walking Dead was the king of the TV ratings and viewership, seasons 4, 5, and 6. It was up there as some of the highest rated cable television shows ever, and it was awesome and it was great. But they didn't really do anything in the right way to draw people in my opinion. They did some big things, they did some stuff, and then they met Fear the Walking Dead, which really wasn't a good idea. They were like, "Oh, Walking Dead is great. We need another show like that." Cool, do it, but do it right. Then continue with The Walking Dead. Season 7 was a big misstep, and then a lot of people gave up. And I know you had to kill somebody in the lineup, but I don't think you had to kill 2 people in the lineup, right? Or am I wrong? Do you think it was the right decision or the wrong decision to kill Glenn and Abraham in the Negan lineup? What was I guess there was no way around it that they had to kill off one character, but they decided to have 2, right? And then season 7 and season 8 with Carl, that whole mess. And I don't think Carl's death is that detrimental to the show like some people think, right? I mean, or that's another good question. Do you think Carl's death really hurt the show, or was it the Negan lineup? Between the two, which was worse for the show? The Negan lineup or the Carl death? Because Carl wasn't that great of a character, in my opinion. Yeah, he was a good role character, and he did certain things, and he had his moments, but he needed other people to carry his story. He needed Enid, he needed this, he needed that, he needed the whole dynamic with Michonne and Rick and stuff there. He never really became a character, in my opinion, that was really a standalone character. And I think killing off the character didn't help the story. It was the way they did it more than anything. It was just dumb. Right? The Carl thing, the way, you could have killed the character off, but you have to do it in a way that's meaningful, right? Or maybe you don't. I don't care. If people don't like it, people are going to complain about everything, right? People are going to care about this character, that character, this writing, that writing. If they give up on the show, they give up on the show. If they're going to keep watching it and complaining, who cares? They're still watching the show, right? The Walking Dead doesn't care if you hate the show. They care if you watch the show. You continue to do it. Just like if you watch the YouTube channel or watch the videos or listen to someone on the radio or whatever, they just care about you watching them or listening to them or giving them viewership or ratings or whatever, views, That's all that matters. But from a standpoint of watching the show and being a fan, Carl's death made no sense. And then they tried to tie it in. Well, Negan, Carl would have wanted this. Who cares what Carl would have wanted? Take out Negan. Like, what are you doing, Rick? Like, there's no reason to keep the Saviors around or keep Negan around except for Negan to take out Alpha. Like, and then you're trying to get cute with it and this and trying to do that. And, just trying to, have all these pieces. And then all that stuff went away. And then you're like, let's get back to kind of the good guys and the bad guys. And that's when the Whisperers came around, and it made sense, right? Because then we were back on track. You were back on stuff where you were like, okay, it's going to be our group versus the Whisperers, the good guys versus the bad guys. But then there was like a blurred line of the Negan Saviors thing. Like, what if we were following Negan to begin with, right? It just didn't make sense to it. And it just wasn't clear cut. And I was just curious of what your, what it was. And then Rick went away, and then Michonne went away. And then now we're on season 10, 11, and now we're coming up on there. So they had some great things and some missteps and whatever, but that's the way of the world and the way shows are. But as for Tales of the Walking Dead, I wonder if they're really trying to just see what sticks for this show. Because, I'm guessing the 6 episodes, it was definitely a thing where the 6 episodes were going to try new stuff. Like, why not have these 6 episodes have the feel of The Walking Dead, have some weird time loop thing, have another kind of Walking Dead character that we know about, have kind of a scientist angle, have some weird noir, what happened with it, figure out mystery stuff on there, right? So it's cool. And then besides Alpha, I was hoping we would see Tyrese, which it's not probably going to happen unless it's in the 6th episode, which would have been cool to see some more connections with the Walking Dead universe. So it's Tales of the Walking Dead, but the only person that we've seen previously is Alpha. So these are all brand new characters. So, I understand it's the Walking Dead name and the Walking Dead franchise and the universe and all that stuff. And it's just kind of different. I was just curious to see your take on it too. But like I was saying, at the beginning, I was thinking about the idea of, are there good episodes, more good episodes than bad episodes? I think so. I think there's 4 episodes have been pretty good. The 2nd episode just tried something crazy, and for me, it's not worth watching. But so next week's episode is the Danny Ramirez, another woman episode about some lady in a house that looks to be haunted, and I understand that the Tales of the Walking Dead is supposed to be an anthology series that's going to be characters that we've seen before and didn't see before, and it's going to be standalone episodes for 6 episodes. So it's 6 bottle episodes, which we don't really like, right? And I don't know what the plan is for next season, if we're going to get a season 2 or not. And I would have loved to have seen Tales of the Walking Dead be more of a branch of the Walking Dead tree. It feels like it's kind of a separate tree altogether. But The Walking Dead has a lot of plot holes and a lot of things that could have connected a little bit better, too. Like, we had the Alpha backstory, origin story kind of thing, which was cool. But other than that, all these things are standalone stuff. I would have loved to have seen, the tank walker kind of thing, the military kind of breakdown in the city. And it ends with the tank walker dying and becoming the tank walker. Would have been pretty cool. How about the hospital that Rick was in before Rick gets admitted? What happens when Rick gets admitted? We don't even see Rick, but you see the Rick Grimes room and the Rick Grimes chart and stuff like that. But you see the hospital break down and other patients and stuff. So it could have been a hospital setting. Would have been really cool as well. Would have loved to have seen the governor aspect, Sasha, Tyrese, and stuff. Would have been, another way of going about it to connect The Walking Dead, but with stuff we know, and there have been some connections, especially in this 5th episode. But Yeah, so let's see what else we got here. Wilson, do you think the 6 episodes of Tales of the Walking Dead were screen tested because the series hasn't been that great? I really hope if there's another series, they read the feedback. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they would do the 6 episodes for testing it and to see how it goes, because I don't know. Well, we know that Channing Powell, the showrunner, wanted to do like a musical episode, which would have been like the stupidest thing ever. Probably the people who liked episode 2 probably would have liked the musical episode. I'm guessing the same people, right? But I feel like it's a much smaller group of people that like the second episode that don't like it. And I'm not trying to hate on those people or not, but at the end of the day, you have to do some fan service, try some things, take some risks, do this, put it all together. And they're asking a lot for us to get a story, new character, story, small story, big story, stuff, and then beginning, middle, and end in like 42, 43, maybe 44 minutes. So 40-minute episode for character development, story, beginning, middle, and end, start, apex, end. It's a lot to ask for, especially from The Walking Dead that we're used to having seasons and seasons of it, of character development and stuff on there too. I hope they do read the feedback as well, Wilson, that I hope that they change things for the better. They can still take risks. And I mean, I still watch the episode. I still watch the second episode, and that's ultimately what they have. But I think you're going to alienate people, because I know a lot of people that have nothing to do with Fear the Walking Dead. They don't want to watch that show. They don't care about that show. They never watch that show, and they're not going to watch that show. So they just watch The Walking Dead. They love that story, that stuff on there too. And, you know, I'm not going to fault them at all. But it does feel like people are giving up on the universe, and they have to do some major things to bring it back. And so we're going to get the main show ending October 2nd into November. So it's going to be done by November. Then we're going to have the Dead City show with Maggie and Negan. Probably, I'm guessing, early 2023 with Fear the Walking Dead around that same time. So I would guess it's going to be the Season 8A, then Maggie and Negan, Fear the Walking Dead Season 8B, the Daryl show, Comic-Con, still summer, blah, 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 and then the Rick and Michonne show will probably be October, is my guess. But we'll see. We'll have to see how it goes down and what they do and what their plan is. You know, we just have to roll with it, how it's being done, and that's all we can do. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A, what was Rick's plan in Season 6? So plan, Season 6 with all them walkers. Where was he going to take them if they didn't? If he going to take them if they didn't came to Alexandria? So the plan was just to send them away. Get them away from Alexandria. Take them so many miles away from it. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was a start to the season. They decided to do things and whatever they do, and that's the way it started it. But that's probably one of the weaker episodes is the premiere, and usually the premieres are really good. A lot of the premieres are really great. I mean, I liked the JSS and No Way Out. Like, the premiere of the second half, the mid-season premiere, is like the best episode of the series, and that was Season 6 too. So, I mean, the walkers had to be around and be a problem for Alexandria until they took them out. So it was a build-up from 601 to 609 is basically what it was. Diana, Q&A. So in Tales, D, we are to assume that she kills the Whisperer, the blonde hair one that told her to whisper, took her mask, and became Alpha. Yeah, so the way I'm thinking about the D and Alpha thing is that D and Lydia are in the woods. Hera is her name, who runs the Whispers, who started the Whispers, or was at least running the Whispers when we meet Alpha, or we meet D. I'm guessing that Hera takes Alpha and Lydia in. Alpha, or D, and Lydia live there for a little bit. Try to get out of there, try to get away, come across Beta, or Half Moon, recruits Half Moon. They go back to the Whisperers, or whatever they were calling themselves at the time. Alpha or D kills Hera, makes a Whisperer skin mask out of her face and blonde hair, and becomes the Alpha of the Whisperers. And that's what I'm guessing is what it was. Now we have to troubleshoot, jump around, think about it, do this, do that, for it to make sense. But I think that's what makes the most sense for me and a lot of people. Michael Singer, do you know the title of the Rick and Michonne show? No, there's no title just yet. We don't even know the Daryl show. So all I know is that Norman Reedus has been in Paris, France, Europe, a bunch of places like that, but he's been in Paris for a while now. He was at Disneyland Paris or Disney World Paris, whatever it is, Euro Disney, whatever you call it. And a fan got a picture with him in Paris. He's probably living there with Diane Kruger. And I don't know what they're going to call that show, because every show has The Walking Dead in the name, right? So, like, what is Daryl Dixon's show going to be? Like, besides European Vacation Fields, I don't know. And what's the Rick and Michonne show going to be? Because we know that it was Isle of the Dead, and now it's The Walking Dead, Dead City, is the Maggie and Negan show. So, I don't know. Hopefully they got a good name. I mean, is it going to be like Rick and Michonne, like, I don't know, Lovers of the Walking Dead or something? Like, well, I don't know. What is it going to be? Like, how are you going to have The Walking Dead in the name for Rick and Michonne? I don't know. That's a good question. Le Walking Dead. Yeah. Ringworm. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A. Did you see the Last of Us TV show trailer? It's about 30 seconds long. I'm really excited for it. No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm excited for Last of Us. Hopefully that's going to be an awesome show for HBO. They're getting into the zombie game. You know, fun fact, I've said it before. I said it years ago, that HBO had a chance to have The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead went to HBO. It was turned down. And NBC. And NBC was going to pick up the show. But they didn't like the whole Walker zombie stuff in there. It's like, can you take the zombie stuff out? And you're like, what? And then AMC picked it up. Probably other shows and other networks, I should say, probably turned it down too as well. But I know those is the word for a while. And I don't know a bunch of the other ones, but that was kind of what it was. But Last of Us is the video game. I'm excited for that. And as it's September 4th now, we're getting closer and closer to a bunch of things. Like Cobra Kai, Season 5, I think, comes out on Friday on Netflix. So excited about that. Walking Dead is October 2nd. House of the Dragon is tonight for the 3rd episode, going strong. I'm really excited for there. And then I was talking with my wife about holidays coming up, because they'll be here before you know it. And God of War Ragnarok comes out November 9th. And I'm excited to play that. And that's for sure. But you're welcome, Diana. You're welcome for... I guess I try to clear it up with the Alpha episode, but that's what I was thinking about, how she goes there, leaves, comes back, and it just fits that stuff. But if we'll get another... I don't know. Like, if Season 2 comes along, would you want to see... Like, Tales of the Walking Dead, like, if somebody was watching this stream, what would you... And then, Star Wars Andor, I think that's... Is that October or November? I know there's a couple things coming out, too. And, there's so much stuff coming out. Now's the time coming out for that. So... If somebody was watching from The Walking Dead, like Channing Power, Gimple are on there too, what would you say? What would you like to see for Tales of the Walking Dead Season 2? Would you want to see a Season 2? Would you want to see a continuation of the characters that we met in Season 1? Would you want to see more connections with The Walking Dead? Or would you want to see them do brand new stuff? Because I would love to see both things. I would love to see continuations of the story of the characters that we met in the first season, and also have connections with them of the Walking Dead stuff. Like, I would love to see somebody go to the prison after the aftermath of it. Like, the tank is still there. There's, I don't know, like they take over the prison again and try to rebuild it or fix the fencing or do something with it. I think that would be really cool. That means they probably won't do it, right? But James, I'm watching She-Hulk. I think it's a good show. I've enjoyed every episode too, especially with the cameos that have been in it. I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen She-Hulk, but there's other people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that have been in basically every episode so far. I'm liking She-Hulk as well too. I think it's a good thing too. Jonathan Wilder. What if Beavis and Butthead met Negan? Negan would take them out pretty quickly. That's for sure, in my opinion. But yeah, so we're trying to do that. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff coming up. Football is coming back, this Thursday, and then Sunday, and then Monday, and all that stuff too. So are you excited for that? College football is underway too. But are you excited for the NFL this year? I am. The first game is back on Thursday with the Bills and the Rams. I don't know who's going to win that game. You can go either way too, which is cool. And I think that would be crazy. Like, if you were in a zombie apocalypse, and then I'll talk about the fifth episode. Let me add to this. What would you miss the most out of everyday life? Like, would you miss sports? Would you miss television? Would you miss TV? Would you miss food? Would you miss your friends? Would you miss that if you're not with them, obviously? But what do you want? Michael Singer, I don't do fantasy football like in the league anymore. I played for like 15 years and was a commissioner for a lot of those years, and I was like, I get burned out. But I play in FanDuel and DraftKings. I do fantasy football that way. Mike, how about you? Are you in a league? You do Yahoo, NFL? What do you guys do for that? So let's talk about the fifth episode, guys. Miss Taco and Beer. So the fifth episode of Tales of the Walking Dead, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. So the fifth episode is about Devon or Devon. Devon, I don't know how they say it, like Devon, because they speak like French in the episode. So it's an episode that's supposed to take place in Maine, and it's a whodunit kind of episode. We don't know what is happening because when we meet Devon, he is handcuffed to a walker in the woods, right? And that's a lot of leagues there, Mike. Hopefully you're winning in some of those as well. But that's cool. You'll probably end up owning a lot of the different players in your fantasy draft. Your drafts, six of them. So it's Jesse T. Usher who plays Devon. I want to say Devon, but it's Devon, or how they say it differently. And he's A-Train on The Boys. And he is tied to this walker, and he wakes up, and the walker has like her face melted, and the mouth is kind of all melted. Even though the teeth could still bite him or something, it's weird. But the walker doesn't really try to attack him at all. He takes off his prosthetic leg. He has a lower leg amputation that he takes off, and he smacks the walker in the face, and I guess kills the walker, but doesn't kill the walker. It's weird. It's just a weird kind of thing, but it's interesting. See you, Diana. Thank you for joining me and being a part of the chat and everything there too. Have a good day. So he gets up, and this walker's like talking to him. Well, no, he's actually in the woods, and this girl comes over and says, yells at him or whatever, and he's like, hey, no, wait, and she runs away. Wait, I'm not going to hurt you, whatever. And he gets up, he's got this big laceration wound on his injury on his forehead, and he walks back to the town with this walker handcuffed to, he's got a handcuff on his wrist and the walker's wrist. So he goes back, and the walker's like talking to him, and he's like, 897. And you're like, what? So then he goes back and he finds the house, 897, in this community. There's nobody watching anything. There's no security or no anything there too. But I guess there's walls that we don't see, and it's a protected community, and it's pretty safe. And he's trying to figure out what's going on. And it's a lot of current situation where he's walking around and then he's trying to remember stuff, and he remembers stuff from the past. So it looks like he had his leg cut, his like a shin and below the knee amputated off from a wound or an injury or something. And he came across these two women who they each have a son, and I guess they're sisters or something. I don't really know. It's Nora and some other woman. I don't really know. I can't remember her name. But they help him, get him back to health, and he's doing better and all this stuff too. And it goes from like then and now and then and now and memories and this and memories and that. So it jumps around a lot, like a little too much. But it works and it's okay. And he goes into the house and he looks around and he looks at a painting and he looks at this and he remembers this and looks at the piano and he remembers playing piano with Nora, who's kind of his love interest in there too. Hey, Muhammad. So, hello from London. And so he's goes around a little bit and figures out some of the stuff and figures out that the woman, that the walker that's handcuffed to him, is the sister or the other person that he was living with. That's not Nora. Nora is a different woman that's still alive, that we find out later on. And he goes into the garage and he cuts off the woman's hand, the walker's hand, so then he gets freed. And I already made a video today talking about some Easter eggs in the episode. One of them being the one with Merle and the hacksaw and the hand. And that's definitely an Easter egg in the video, in the episode. So he kind of remembers things and he's kind of put two and two together. And so there's Nora and her son, who's a younger kid, and then the other woman with her son, who's like an older kid. And they talk about the older kid goes out on this trip or something, and he ends up getting like this cut on his neck, like an injury, but he's fine and he survived. And there's something off about this kid. And there's also something off about his mom, who talks about like sometimes killing is mercy. Killing is the right thing to do at times. And you're like, all right, something weird. And they're all dressed like I don't know, like Amish people or people that are living off the grid kind of thing. Like it's just kind of like rural times. It's just weird. And they're supposed to be in Maine and they're speaking French. And, Devon is sitting in bed in one of the jumps around timelines, and he opens up a picture, and it's a picture of him and I guess his family, but behind it is a card. It looks like one of those like key card things that you scan it on a door, and it has the letters PPP on it. And you're like, okay, we saw that before in season 7, episode 6 of The Walking Dead with Tara and Heath. Well, Tara found the card, but we never seen something since then. Until here. Tales of the Walking Dead. Kind of cool. Love the connections. We need more of them. We need stuff like that. But it's not explained. We see it twice in the episode, but it's not really elaborated on. They don't talk about it, what it is. They don't talk about this. How did he get it? Why does he have it? Does he know what it is? Did he come from a place there? Is he going there? Is he trying to go to Montreal, like he says in there too? Is that where it's connected? We don't know. But it makes you wonder. So I think the PPP stands for plot hole, plot hole, plot hole. Doesn't really do anything. We don't know. So the big thing about it is that he finds out that as he's in the basement, because he hears voices crying out for help in the basement of the house, he goes down there and he checks it out, what's going on. And as he sees a child walker that's handcuffed to the pole, he stabs the walker's head, looks around, and then this lady comes and puts a sack over his head, and he gets captured. Hey, Lindsay. He gets captured. And he gets, the people of the town are all yelling at him. They're like, murderer, you terrible, you did this, oh, man, you killed my son, you killed my this, oh, my God, murderer. Yeah, like just the mob mentality. And he's trying to figure it out. He's like, I don't know. What are we talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. He's like, you killed my kid. You killed this. You did that. And then you killed my mom. And it's the older kid that's in the house that he was living there with. He comes in, you killed my mom. You did this. And something's off with this kid. And you're like, yeah, this dude's up to something. So he gets tied to a thing. And they're like, give us the information. Let us know what you're doing before you die. You do the right thing. And so instead of just killing him or cutting his neck or killing his brain or shooting him or whatever, they put him in this van, and they're going to crush the van with this construction, piece of equipment. The dump truck or the crane thing with the bucket and picking up dirt, the bulldozer kind of thing. And He's in the van, and he's like, wait, I know what happened. There was a boy, he got away. His memories are coming to him. And as they're, smashing down on the truck, he's like, wait. And then the girl, the lady Nora, who was like his love interest, we don't see them get together, but it kind of hints at it, and they're flirty, and they're, you kind of see something there too as well. We don't see them get together, but something might have happened too. And the construction thing is breaking the van and doing this, and Nora's like, wait, no, stop. And they're like, no, you can't stop. He killed my son. You can't do this, blah, blah, blah. You can't do that. And it's like, there's another boy. He got away. And then Nora goes and then fights the guy inside the construction thing and stops it, and he gets out. He gets out of the van. And he goes back in there too, and he remembers what happened. So what happened is there was a boy chained to the pole, and there was another boy in the corner, and that was Nora's son. And Nora's son actually ends up getting away. And as Devon finds him and frees him, the lady, like the other lady living in the house, I'm blanking on her name, I apologize, but she comes down and she says, this is mercy, and, figuring out what to do, and blah, blah, blah. And the boy I think Darren, I think his name is, he runs up the steps, and they try to grab him, and she kicks Devon in the face, and Devon and her fight, and they go into the garage. There's like this weird bucket of like acid or something. I don't know what it is, but the lady falls into the acid with her face, and it burns her face. But before that, Devon does the handcuffs that he got from Darren, the kid that he took off, puts it around her wrist and ties it to his wrist. So he locks in that way, and that's how this happens. So you find that out that the other lady in the house, I guess is Nora's sister, I'm just guessing they are, she was kidnapping kids and then killing them in the neighborhood because she thinks it was merciful to kill them, to not grow up in this world. So she was being terrible, by the way. So the walker that Devon is walking around with is the other lady living in the house. He puts two and two together, and then he remembers that one got away. He goes to this abandoned house mill thing that has a fireplace and the thing, and he goes to it, and there's the woman that Devon killed. Her older son is there with Darren, Nora's son, and they're talking, and I guess they're poisoning the kids because the guy was like, yeah, I'm not going to be mad at you, and I'm going to, which flavor do you want? You want strawberry, banana, lemon, peach, and I guess it's pills, or poison. And Devon is outside the door hearing all this, and he goes in and grabs this little tiny bat. Like it's kind of laughable how small this bat is. It's like a baby Lucille, like super baby Lucille. And he's like, what are you doing? What's going on? And the guy, the older bad kid, grabs the knife and points it at Devon. And they talk and they kind of argue and blah, blah, blah. Walks back up the hill. Devon falls down and he hears these walkers. And he looks around. He doesn't see any walkers. And again, I don't know what happened with my stream here. I can't see it. Hopefully it's still there. But and there's supposed to be a wall around the community that we don't see, so they're well protected. So somebody had to have died inside the community. So he grabs this rope and he pulls it, and there's these two walkers in this pit that were killed by, I guess, this older kid and his mom. And it was kind of crazy because the older kid and his mom were killing kids in there to not grow up in this terrible world, basically, is what I got out of it. But how do they explain to the other people in the families around there what happened to their kids? You know, like before Devon got there, they were probably killing their kids too. And I don't know how long they've been doing this and all that other stuff too. But Devon says, you know, nah, you're enough of this. So he yells, Nora, Nora, Nora in the woods. And he smacks the knife out of the kid's hand with the baby Lucille. I'm telling you, when you see it, you're going to laugh when you see the baby Lucille. It's not wrapped in barbed wire, but it's a tiny bat. It's like a little baby bat. So he smacks the knife out of the kid's hand, and then Nora comes there, and everyone else comes around. And Nora sees her son, Darren, or whatever his name is, runs over to him, and then the other lady that sees the two kids in the pit, and they're like, oh, what's going on? And the older kid's like, Devon did it, he did this, and blah, blah, blah. And then the little kid, Darren, says like, no, he did it. He did it. So the older kid is, breaking down. The jig is up. The story's up. He's in trouble. He got caught. So they throw the kid. They kick him, punch him, beat him up a little bit, throw him in the little pit. I guess it's like a pit, but it's like a little dugout area with two there too, and the two little Walker kids eat the guy, and that's it. The older kid reminds me of like Justin Bieber, by the way. He's like Amish Justin Bieber. So I see with the crazy eyebrows. And Devon is mad. He's like, you guys were going to kill me, and you don't even care. My story was going to go away, and you were just going to walk about your day and whatever. He says something in French that I can't make out. There's no subtitles for it to Nora, and that's the end of the episode. So it's a kind of cool, crazy episode, and it's definitely something that it's cool. It's a different kind of thing. The PPP card connection was nice. The callbacks, the Easter eggs, and stuff like that are cool. It's cool to see. Like and that's what I want in these episodes. So the episode worked. It drew me in to watch what happened next, what was going to happen here, what was going to there, who did it, who did that, and it was kind of cool. If you guys saw it, did you like it? So I was excited to see this episode because I like Jesse T. Usher from The Boys. He plays A-Train. And next week's episode is Danny Ramirez, who was in a couple different shows. He was in Top Gun Maverick, also Falcon Winter Soldier. So it's pretty cool to see these big-time actors in it. Like I said before, from people that some people that just joined, I've enjoyed Tales of the Walking Dead. If I was going to say wins and losses, good or bad, I would say it's 4 good and 1 bad, in my opinion. And it's just cool to see where this is going. I wish there was more connections. I don't like things that are wasting time. I do like the idea of connecting the dots of the story and connecting with the greater universe of it, even if it's a small way. And, and I asked before, if you guys were going to watch season 2, would we want to see continuation of these characters? And I would love to see a continuation of these characters, but connected with stuff of The Walking Dead, the stuff we know. They don't have to go to Alexandria or the Commonwealth or something like that. But I do think it would have been cool to see some prior destinations, like if they went by Terminus after the fact, if we saw them go to the prison after our group was there, if they went to certain places like that, it would be cool. Or that neighborhood where the wolves were, that'd be cool as well too. Stuff like that. You're like, hey, that was cool. Brings you in. It's all connected. That's all. I don't think it's a lot to ask for. The universe of The Walking Dead is pretty big, and of course CRM. I think that's a big thing that connect easily too. Jonathan Wilder. What if Negan found Rick before Rick found Morgan, and Shane still kept Lori and Carl alive the whole time? I mean, that wouldn't work because Rick is Rick and Negan is Negan. It's two leaders, two alphas. You can't have Rick and Negan. You have to have Rick versus Negan. It just wouldn't work, too. Michael Singer, show Rosita's life before Abraham. Sure, definitely, stuff like that. Like that's what I think these episodes really need to turn into for a second season. Get some more funding, get some better writing, get some more connections, and just connect stuff too. Gary Page, Q&A, would you like to see some of the actors to join up together in the last episode? I would love to see more of the connections with the actors in the story because I don't like bottle episodes. I don't like plot holes. I don't like stuff that doesn't make sense and doesn't connect. And not all those things, work hand in hand, but I would love to see our group come together some way, some shape or form. It does feel, I mean, like I said it before, and I understand. It's a big ask for 42 minutes or 44 minutes or whatever it is, 40 plus minutes for us to get to know a new character, see the problems, see if they live, see if they die, story, arc, this, that, ups and downs, all arounds in 42 minutes is a lot. Where you have character development that expands seasons for a lot of these characters on The Walking Dead. But Tales of the Walking Dead is interesting. I just would love to see more of these characters and connect with it. And the actors are good. The acting has been pretty good in my opinion. And that's what you get, though, when you get Terry Crews, Olivia Munn, Samantha Morton. Even Parker Posey and Julian Bell were good acting. The story just wasn't that good, in my opinion. Anthony Edwards, Jesse T. Usher. It works. They're good actors. Hand in hand. I said before the writing is more important than the acting, but if you don't have both, it takes a big hit. Like if you have terrible acting and good writing, you can't get past the terrible acting. Or if you have terrible writing, the actors can only do so much there too. So, but overall, guys, we're still going strong. Today is September 4th, Labor Day weekend. If you're going to have a Labor Day barbecue or do anything fun, make sure you're safe and sound out there too. I want to be taking it easy for tomorrow. I got House of the Dragon tonight, which I'm very excited for. Probably do some yard work tomorrow. Got to mow the lawn and move some racks and just put some, stuff down to control the weeds, a weed barrier a little bit for certain spots. But it's just cool to see, take the time for it. My book series is going strong. I don't know if you guys were here last time or whatever, but I completed the book. I'm on chapter 6, I believe, of my first edit. So when I finish my edit, I'll have my wife read it. And then when she goes through it, I'll go back and read it again and edit it, of course. And then it'll be out. So I'm going to take my time with it. I'm thinking more like November or December because I want to make sure it's done right. And so it's super excited. If you've read Fight for Us and if you've read In 100 Days, I would recommend reading Fight for Us for the 14 books or whatever it is first, and then In 100 Days, and then reading these two books, 16 and 17, Reckless, and then the next book is called The Island. So because it's rewarding for me to write it in a way that I'm writing it, and then to have the In 100 Days prequel story that connects with the greater universe of Fight for Us. So I don't know, it just really works out really well if you read it that way, and I'm excited to see you guys. The next book, The Island, is one of my favorite books so far, and I'm excited to see. I want it to be done right, and I'm really striving for it to be one of the best books of the series, if not the best book. Because a lot of stuff's happening and stuff's coming together, and it's been building for a little bit, and it's rewarding, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. Michael Singer, do you already have an ending to your book in mind yet? Yes, I do. I have an idea. I've always was striving for the 20 book mark, so 20 books for Fight for Us. And then I love the idea, like Robert Kirkman said when he created The Walking Dead. He created the zombie story that never ends. And I love that idea. So my Fight for Us story is going to have an ending, but stuff's going to happen where stuff will be left for the future of that too, because when you watch the zombie story and read the stuff and you watch the shows and the movies and all that stuff, and there's survivors. Unless everybody dies, somebody survives or a group of people survive. What happens next? That's going to be the next story. And there's going to be time jumps. There's going to be stuff there. There's going to be stuff that's going to be talked about that we'll have to explain in a way that you don't give it away all at once, but you get to it, because it'd be pretty annoying if you talk about something and hint at it, but you never cover it. Like a plot hole is pretty bad. I don't like those, and I try to stay away from them. And I'm not perfect by any means, but I try to stay away from them there too. You can have stuff that build it up, but then there's got to be a payoff for sure. Jonathan Wilder, what if Morgan do if he stay on the show and if he saw Rick disappear? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, Rick and Morgan are connected because of the OGs of the first season and stuff there, the pilot episode. But I do want to see them reunited in the Rick and Michonne series. And with season 8 of Fear the Walking Dead, I don't know how they're going to have it connect with Morgan, Rick, Michonne, CRM, all that stuff, Padre, Madison, all that craziness there. I just don't know if that ever's going to happen, but I think we need to see that too. And, the zombie stories, they're all the same. They're all different. Everyone's infected. Not everyone's infected. There's a cure. The military shows up. Everybody lives. Everybody dies. Or a good amount of people live. A good amount of people die. And it's cool to see how stuff unfolds. And, before, it's easy to judge shows and movies and do that too. But it all stems from writing. Whether you write a book or a comic or, a play or, a screenplay or whatever it is, a script, you have to write it. And it starts with this scene, this dialogue, this person, who are they talking with, where they are, what's the problem, what's going on here, what is this, what's next, where's the previous history, where's it going, and there's all these different factors in it. And I just love the idea of putting stuff together and thinking about it and visualizing it. And if I can visualize it and if I do a good job, I can paint that picture or type that picture, what's happening. And hopefully I do a good job and you guys understand it and you guys are rewarded with it and you do like it. And it really means a lot to me too, and I get a lot of feedback from people who like it. I get some feedback from people who don't like it, and that's all right too. And it goes both ways. But I try to cut down the mistakes and the problems and the stuff there and improve on the areas that are great and that need work. But I just try to strive to be better and better and better. And I think I've improved with it too. And that's my, advice to you guys is to start something. Whether it's writing, dancing, singing, gardening, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. Right? It's something that you can do if you put your mind to it and work at it. When I first started writing, my first book is probably terrible compared to this book I'm writing now. Hopefully it's not terrible, but it's probably far worse than writing, because I wrote 3 books in 100 days, and The Island is book 17. So I'm coming up on 20 books. Even though I'm going to write, 20 books of Fight for Us and then 3 there, so I'll have 23. It's just a lot of stuff there too. You can get better at it, no matter what you're doing, no matter what it is. First YouTube videos I made were probably terrible compared to what I make now. You improve on it. No matter what it is, you can do better too. So this person says, Tales has been worse than World Beyond. Or they're just different. Like Tales of the Walking Dead is not going to be World Beyond, and World Beyond is not going to be Tales. So it's like comparing 2 different things. They're not going to be the same. They're just not how it's going to be. But, yeah. But ultimately, guys, that is my time. I'll go for another minute or so. I'll answer any questions, rapid fire stuff. James, have a good one, my guy. Hopefully you're safe and sound. I appreciate the kind words and support. And I'll be back next week for the live stream. That's for sure. I actually have to go to a CPR class next Saturday because my new job, I have to get a American Red Cross type of certification. There's an online component, and then there's a in-class component. And next week I have to do the in-class component for that. And then I actually start my new job September 19th, and I'll be wrapping up the my current job. And when that finishes, I'm going to go right into the new job, and hopefully it's not too crazy and busy, but it'll probably be a busy training and all that stuff too. But that'll be coming up soon. But next week, I'll be back for the live stream, and I'm excited to talk about a bunch of different stuff. We'll talk about the 6th and final episode of Tales of the Walking Dead, most likely, and anything else. Tales of the Walking Dead and Dead City filming in New Jersey. It's been filming all over New Jersey, which is kind of cool to see because I'm from New Jersey, even though they film in North Jersey. But it's still cool to be in that state. Awesome stuff. And BJ Logan 007, last question Q&A. If you was able to construct the ending of the Walking Dead universe, all shows, what would you do? I still stand by the epic battle with CRM, Commonwealth, CRM versus everybody. So CRM versus the world. No, CRM versus Commonwealth, Rick, Michonne, World Beyond, Fear the Walking Dead, whoever, Padre, whatever you want to bring in there. We find out about what the Bennetts have been doing, connects the dots with that. We see the Civic Republic gets overthrown because they're corrupt. The CRM is actually helping people instead of hurting people. People are a resource, to quote Negan, and it all works out. We lose some people. Maybe Rick dies protecting Michonne and Judith or RJ. And that's the way it goes. You have your Rick statue. You have your comic connection. Time jump. Judith is older, has a family of her own. And she says, this is the story of The Walking Dead. Dun, dun, dun. All right, guys. I'll be back next Sunday. Thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve the goals. Achieve your goals with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice. I say it again because if you can, keep working on it no matter what it is. You can do it. I'll be back next Sunday. Enjoy Tales of the Walking Dead if you're watching it tonight. House of the Dragon if you're watching it tonight like I am. I'll be back. See you guys.